well, like uh, the students that I have been teaching since long are there, but so they know me very well. And for those who doesn't know me, so you can a very brief introduction that I'm Nikhil Jamil, and today I will be teaching you small tips and tricks for tomorrow's test. Now, I know a few of you might not be taking tests tomorrow, or they have just joined to know what is that or what is it all about. But this session is all about the small tips and small things that we have to take care while we are taking the test. It's very important, and I hope that by this time, by today, you all of have prepared well for the exam. And I was thinking that I should open this group. Already is open for all the participants. If you have any question to the last moment, you can share on the group, and I will try my best to answer it. And also, I will try, and it will also encourage other students to see that if they are going right or wrong, or if they want to answer that as well. So this group is open. This the WhatsApp group is open, and you can ask any questions. I will try my best to answer any questions that you might have. First of all, I would like to say that before you begin the exam tomorrow, inshallah, um, I hope you have prepared enough for tomorrow's test. But this day, today is very important regarding that if today you are having a good day, you are having a bit relaxing day, then of course it will affect the day, the test tomorrow. So because since we are locked down and many of the students who are praying from Saudi Arabia, they also know that this time was very tough for all of us, and of course they are going to the test center after a long time, so they may have anxiety, and it is very normal. This is human nature, to be anxious, to be worried. But of course, if you have to control yourself because you're quite grown up now, and you have to think in terms of that today, if today is very is today a very anxious day for you, then you might not be able to perform well tomorrow. So my first tip is that you should sleep in time. Because when you will sleep in time, I think tomorrow is 7 a.m. exam in the morning. It's too early here for here. But if you sleep in time, you will wake up in time, and then you will be able to do good. Because, of course, when we feel sleepy, when we feel drowsy, then of course we our brain stop functioning and the brain does not perform well. So do not think that if you will study whole night and you will do good tomorrow. There may be few topics. If you think that you want to revise, you can revise. But do not consider that if you read throughout the night and go to the test center tomorrow and do the test, it may not help because you will feel sleepy and you will not be able to perform well. So again, if you will not reach the center in time, again, it will be a problem for you because, this is all a vicious cycle when you do not reach in time and then you do not, um, you get anxiety that I will not be able to finish in time. So this all builds up gradually. So try to spend today and the tomorrow morning in a good mood and like without being anxious and without wasting time, and be punctual. So this is the very important tip. And because you all are so young, and believe me, when the time passes by and when you grow up, you will realize that this is really very important, reaching in time and preparing well today. Second thing, you have to, there are many, I will also share in the group, but there are many duas. No, the class is not tomorrow. This is only one time session. So there are some du'as, there's some recitation of du'as as well that will help you build the confidence. And despite, you have to trust Allah that whatever you have learned today or in the whole, like 3 4 months of practicing, you should have trust in Allah that whatever you have learned is all from Allah. And tomorrow your brain functions well, so you have to pray to Allah that the knowledge you have got should increase more and more, and this is all from Allah. So this is like this is I have tested a lot. May Allah make it easy for you. So you have to definitely recite this verse. So whatever things you have learned so far, you have to retain it. You have to remember it. And for that, of course, we can ask Allah for that. That whatever we have in our brain should retain it and reproduce it tomorrow. So okay, the third thing is that the SAT test, if you have seen, maybe most of the students I know that they're appearing from Cambridge platform, or some are already in the American board, and they will be taking the test. So the British curriculum or the American curriculum, they're very different. The American schools here in Chanta, they are very used to of having this multiple choice questions, and these the choose the best answer type of questions, they're very used to it. And whereas the British curriculum, the students which are following the British curriculum, they are not very much aware of or not aware, they're not very used to of having these multiple choice questions. So whatever, the first thing is that for example, if there is a question and you want to answer it, so okay, first of all, to cut here, if you are having a paper and pencil, it will be benefit for you if you just bring your papers and pencil together and write down these points as well. Okay. So I have came a lot of these type of excuses that Miss, I had B in my mind and by accident I circled number C. Now, the invigilator or the examiner who is examining your test will not see what was in your brain. He will just see what is written on the on your copy board. So again, if you are, for example, if the answer is B, so just I will try to share the whiteboard. Okay, so for example, if you have answer B is correct, so just acknowledge it that yes, I have to circle B. You should not be circling C because this is not the right answer. So after even marking B, just check then and there. Do not wait for that you will finish and you will come back and recheck. You might run out of the time while ending the exam. Uh, I think someone's mic is open. Just 1 minute. So you might not, you should not wait for exam to finish and you will come back and you will see it. Just check then and there. Now there are a few favorite mistakes of my students. Then they do a lot. So because right now all of my students, not few of my students are here, and some of them that I don't know, but this is the favorite mistake that is done by most of my students. So usually they do like a plus b whole square is a square plus b square, which is absolutely wrong. There is third term as well, which is a square plus b square plus 2ab, and similarly for a square minus b square. Why I'm just repeating this point, because I know that because a major portion of the SAT exam is based on algebra, and this quadratic formula will definitely come. So try to just learn it, memorize it, write it, or just put in your brain that you will not make this mistake tomorrow. Now, this is because as I've told you that this is the favorite mistake of my all of my students, so I just pointed out here. The second thing is that the third formula in the range of the algebra is a square minus b square is equals to a minus b and a plus b. So you have to remember this as well, and keep in mind that you will not do this mistake. Uh, Usually in my class, if any of my students who do this mistake, they have to pay a fine. And of course, the students here must be smiling that they do have to pay fine for these mistakes, because this is very common, and they must have realized now that how much is it like how much importance of it is. So please take care of this formula. Now, the fourth thing that I want to say that SAT exam is not only your capabilities or your knowledge regarding maths. It is also about the time management and the your vigilance. The way you read the question, the way you comprehend the question is very important. Usually, again, if I say that many of the students who are from British curriculum, they are not used to of connecting English and mathematics. They are not used to of connecting it. They do not, and there is, somewhere we are phobic of having the word problems. Even from the beginning, we have some. We are just a little bit afraid of the word problems. And you can see in all of the set questions there are word problems. So again, you have to read if even if you are taking the exam online, on the paper, anywhere, you just have to read the question once, a bit not louder because it is not allowed to speak louder, but a bit in a voice that you can hear yourself. Why is it necessary? Why I encourage a student to read out the question once? Because when you read out something, now when you're just for example, you're reading a question. When you read out a bit louder in a voice that you can hear yourself, then your two senses are working to acknowledge it. Number one, your hearing sense. Of course, you're reading with your eyes, but when you are speaking it, you are also hearing it. This two senses will get acknowledge. Will try to acknowledge those words into your brain, and that will help you to get the good answers. My fifth tip is that for example, if you have a question, and most of my students have complained that they do not figure out what is being asked. Now, you may not figure out, for example, there is a question and you are not able to answer it completely, or you're not figuring out that what is being asked, but there must be some keyword that what they're asking for. For example, they give you a big huge data and they're asking for a linear line model, for example. Now you know that okay, this whole paragraph which is written in the English, they is the whole paragraph which is written in the English, but there will be a some keyword which signifies that, okay, there is a linear line model, which means that we have to use the formula y is equals to mx plus b. So now start thinking whatever you have learned in linear line models or linear equations or the gradient or the slopes and the tangents and everything you have learned in this chapter. Start thinking in this domain. This will help you a lot. This will help you a lot to understand what it is what they want to ask you. And I will also recommend you to write down the related formula in front of you, and this will improve your thinking to answer better. Okay. And as I've said that the SAT exam, it does not test only your knowledge regarding maths. And because if you are taking the exam after your A levels, it is very easy. The questions are very simple. The methods are very, very simple, and the calculations are also easy. The numbers are very easy, but there will be what like if you're doing something wrong, there will always be a wrong answer that will definitely suit your wrong strategy. Because when we do the multiple choice questions, there will be not uh, there is always one answer correct, but the three or four answers, the choices which are provided, will be something that may come out from your own wrong strategy. So you have to take care of it. And you don't think that, okay, this answer has come up, so it may be right. It may be wrong because of your wrong strategy. Again, one common mistake that my students love to do, and that in substitution, for example, wait, for example, you have a square, and there is a substitution which is a is equals to minus 3. Now a is minus 3, and you have to substitute minus 3 whole square, and the answer is minus 3 into minus 3, which is 9. And but my students, they love to say that because they just do not put the brackets, so they simply write minus 3 squared, which is equals to minus 9. Now there is in terms of mathematics, there is a lot of difference between 9 and minus 9. And again, you may find minus 9 in the answers. I'm just giving an example. So please take care of this mistake as well. Now, because you may have practiced a lot and you are few students, it depends from a person to person, from student to student, that you might be confident tomorrow about tomorrow exams. You might be overconfident, or you might be underconfident. Now, again, there is a very small difference between being confident and overconfidence. Be confident, but do not overconfident. And you can, as I've told you, that because this group is open for today, you can ask and you can send me. This is offer from my side. You can send me the questions on that group only, so that other students should also see that what are the possible confusions that a student can have. Now, one thing which is very, very important, that again, that because the SAT does not calculate only, examine only your knowledge, but it is your vigilance, your perfection, your accuracy. So one thing is that if anything which is going very complicated, very lengthy, very tedious, so just there is something wrong. So the biggest hint, the biggest tip of mine is that if there is something very like it's taking a lot of time, it is taking your more than 2 or 3 minutes, it means that there is something wrong. And if you are not able to solve it like in 2 minutes, for example, then just leave it and guess it intelligently, despite like you just waste 5 minutes or 6 minutes in trying to answer it out, and at the end you will be left with no time to do it. Keep a constant watch on the watch, and you have to look at, you have to keep on checking the time. Okay. And when you will keep on checking the time, it will give you a very much idea, like in like how much minutes are left, and how much and then you can the reschedule your time management then and there. um, Although this strategy is being said by many teachers, and sometimes I agree to it, sometimes not, but it depends on you. Like, please do not leave the question just because that, okay, I will come back to it. If you just try it for 1 or 2 minutes, if you are not able to do it, just answer it. Just give a genius answer, a genius choice to it. Because if you will just say that, okay, I will come back to it, and in case you are not able to come back to it, and of course you are in such a pressure because you have English and maths tomorrow, so you may not be able, you may forget it, and you will not you don't have time to come back to it and solve it. So my suggestion, my personal, and maybe in there can be few students who must have faced this, but this is a very something which I can say that if you have control on yourself, that you can leave a question now, and you want to look it back at the end, it's okay. But I would suggest that do not leave any question, because it is really a time managed exam. You may not have the time at the end, so take care of it. Now, let's just go quickly through some points, and I was showing you my screen. Okay, you have already studied smart and you have focused on your test preparation. Because if you think that your calculations are taking a lot of time, it is always advisable to plug in the real numbers for hypothetical questions, and try to plug in the simpler numbers like 100 or 10 or 1. Please do not plug in zeros, because zeros make everything zero, so you may have a confusion if you plug in a zero. So try plugging in simple numbers like 1 or 10 or 100 in which the calculations are easier. I also recommend you here to revise or learn the first 20 squares as well, okay? Now, you have to eliminate your hasty mistake just because I have said that slipshod mistakes are those that you make wonder that why I have made this question wrong. I knew that concept, but this thing happens a lot. You have to avoid committing these careless blunders because they are easy ways to lose precious points. What you initially have to bear in mind is to slow down, familiarize yourself with proper pacing for the pertinent set. As I have said you before, that you have to do the time management properly, and you have to you have to manage the time. And of course, by this time, you all have prepared enough, and you know how to manage the time better. But as I told you, that there can be other factors like anxiety and tension and mood swings, anything which can make you a not so good time management tomorrow. So please take care of it and learn to be proficient in time management by doing the same. Take time to answer each question that you come across with down. Note down every step required in the problem, especially in the non-calculator. This point is very, very, very important. Please note it down again that mental calculations, I always appreciate that you can do quickly by mental calculations, but if you try to do mental calculations and if you are missing anything, you cannot go back into your brain's memory and check out that where was a mistake. So I always encourage my students, please do not miss any step. Even if it's a minute step, please write it down. If it's a very small step, please write it down. Especially the the confusing sorry, the most the mistakes are caused by the negative sign. So there is a suggestion for all my students that if there is a negative sign, please be careful and pay extra attention to the question, because just because of a negative sign, most of the students are they are prone to make errors there. Okay. Now, okay, again, this is I have said that you have to do the two pass time management strategy. If you think that you want to skip the answer and you want to come back at the end, now it is your choice, but from my side I will not suggest it, because at the end you may not have the chance to get back. Now, one last thing that I was just thinking that there are two things that and this question is very common in all of the SAT questions, that, for example, whenever you have radical equations are those in which we have radicals, right? So, for example, it is x is equals to 3 plus x. Of course, the first step will be that you want to square it, both sides. And then after this radical equation, it may become a quadratic equation, x squared plus sorry, x squared is equals to 3 plus x, and then because it is a quadratic equation, you may get two answers of x is equals to something and x is equals to something. You may get two answers, but these two answers x is equals to something and x is equals to something, it is good for this equation which is quadratic. But these two answers may not be true for the radical equation. This may not be. So even if you are getting two answers, why it is not true? Like, for example, if I get x is equals to -4. So -4 may work here, but -4 will not work here because 3 minus 4 is equals to -1. And we cannot do the square root of -1 until it is specified in the question that this question is a complex number equation, a complex number question. Okay. So again, special care should be taken that whenever you have a radical sign, and when you transform the radical equation into the quadratic equations and you're getting the two answers, These two answers may be true for quadratic equations, but they may not be true for a radical equation. So always try in the equations, and as I've said before, that the algebra is the most major portion of stat. So you just have to plug in the real equation. Now, this is all from my side, and if I just recall or if any I get to know any mistake done by my student, then I will put it on the group and I will delete the group after tomorrow. And I wish all of my students and everyone a very good exam tomorrow. Please try to be confident whatever you have done. Do not waste your time today, and today is a good day, alhamdulillah, and you can practice today. Also, there will be some few questions regarding complex number as well, and this is it. And I really really wishing you a very very good exam tomorrow. Okay, if you have any question, if you want to ask anything or say anything, you can open up your mic and say yes, anything, Abdul Rahman or Faisal. Okay, everyone, thanks for joining. And it was meant to be a very short session, but again, the group is open. You want to ask anything, you can just send me a message and I will try my best to answer you. Okay, thank you so much and good luck. Allah Hafiz.